So who's going to have the luck of the draw in the AFC South in 2016? Sorry, guys. Couldn't help myself. I do it every single time. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian. FedQ. The good old AFC South. I mean, who the hell knows who's going to win this division?
You don't know. It used to be the Pits, but it's starting to become up and coming again. It used to be one of the better ones, but the NFC West used to be the Pits too, and now look at them, one of the better divisions in the league. So it's tough to say who's going to win it. You don't really have a dominant team in this division.
No, I agree with that. And I know who the casual fans are probably going to think are going to win this division, but I'm not as high on that team, and I'm talking about the Colts. I'm not that high on this team as everybody else might be.
No, they did dominate the division for like 14 years when Peyton was there, so it was kind of happy to see him go and finally open it up again.
and then Andrew Luck came in there. He won the first couple years, but we are going to start with the Colts then. I have some major issues with this team right now because the offensive line is an abomination. They tried to upgrade via the draft. They took a center in the first round. They've taken 4 guys in the draft and all along the offensive line. They got LaRaven Clark in the 3rd round. He's a tackle. But you're still lacking considerably. I mean, Andrew Luck took so many hits last year, and there's a reason why he threw all those interceptions. That offensive line didn't really give him a lot of time to throw. And that defense is fucking terrible. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And that's why I'm not that high on the Colts this season.
I couldn't agree with you more. The offensive line, it's been a revolving door all the way around except for the left tackle. Costanzo's been there for a little bit. He's decent. I mean, nothing special. They took Ryan Kelly to kind of replace. They haven't found a replacement for Jeff Saturday. So I think they finally got him. He's going to be the staple. He's going to be in the middle. He's going to solidify that. And I really like LaRaven Clark. He's really raw. He's going to need some work, so he's not going to be a day one starter. So they still – Andrew Luck was completely ripped apart last year because of how many sacks and hits he took. I mean, he had, a lacerated spleen, broken ribs. I mean, this guy was like a cyborg. They had to put him together. He was just broken to bits.
Yeah, and really all they have is a passing game right now. Like, they have Andrew Luck, and they have T.Y. Hilton. Dante Moncrief's pretty good, but they really don't have a running game. Frank Gore almost finished with 1,000 yards, but his yards per carry was like 3.7 or something. So they're not getting any push in the running game. I do like Jack Mewhort. I will say that before I continue on. So Jack Mewhort, Costanzo, they're pretty good. They're okay. I shouldn't say pretty good. They're good. They're solid. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, who's your other tackle? It's like Denzel Good or who the fuck it is.
I couldn't even pull the name. It was Good, and then they kept switching the center, who I can't think of his name because he's like a no-namer too. They were flipping those guys back and forth, and then practice squad guys. It was bad. That right side was, like you said, an abomination.
Yeah, actually, Joe Reitz might be the tackle, and Denzel Good might be the guard. I don't even know. I don't even know who the fuck these guys are. They're bad. Hugh Thornton is another guy that's in the mix. I remember a guy named Jonathan Harrison.
Hugh Thornton and Jonathan Harrison. Yeah, Hugh Thornton, that was the guard's name.
Yeah, they all stink. They're bad. I'm stuttering because they're so bad. Can't even get it out. So that's the problem there. Dwayne Allen's a good tight end. So they have, I don't know.
They have weapons.
Their defense was their offense was pretty good when they were making the playoffs. But ever since Reggie Wayne retired, they're just, I don't know, they're lacking. Andre Johnson was a huge disappointment last year. So I don't know. I'm not high on this team. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I remember when they were going to the playoffs each year, I wasn't very high on them then either. Because I was just I'm looking at this defense. I'm like, well, besides Robert Mathis, who the fuck do they have?
They had Jarrell Freeman, but they lost him to Chicago, so he was pretty good. I like Vontae Davis a lot. I think he's a very underrated player on that team.
Vontae Davis is very good. That's their one guy they have on defense. Jarrell Freeman, I had him actually ranked as the 5th ranked inside linebacker in the league. That's how good I think he is.
Very good.
Yeah, he's very, very, very underrated. But they don't have him anymore, like we just explained. So who knows what they're going to get at Robert Mathis. Trent Cole wasn't like his old self. Eric Walden is just whatever. They don't have anybody in that front seven that scares anybody. I do like Henry Anderson. I thought he was pretty good for half a year until he got hurt. But, I mean, who else do they have?
Arthur Jones, he's good, but he got suspended, so he'll be out for 4 games.
Kendall Langford is another guy they have.
Bijan Warner, their top pick from a couple years ago, was a complete bust. They cut him, so he's out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just grabbing at straws at who's on that team. Greg Toller, I don't think, is that good of a corner, and their safeties are terrible.
There's nothing there. Their cornerbacks, they have 3 cornerbacks. That I like Patrick Robinson, and I like Vontae Davis. Antonio Cromartie is there as well, but he'll be on my overrated list because he hasn't been good for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So he always gets overrated every year. So who else they have? They have DeQuell Jackson, who's kind of over the hill now, but he led the team. Yeah, he led the team in tackles last year. So there's not much on that defense. I have them going 7-9.
That's what I have them going too, 7-9.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling this team. They have Andrew Luck, they have T.Y. Hilton, they have Vontae Davis, and that's pretty much it.
They tried to get cocky and try to just plug and play guys in there and surround their really good players with just these no-namers because they thought they could get by, but obviously it didn't work. You got to protect your franchise quarterback. That should have been the main thing you did after you drafted Andrew Luck is build that line around him, like they had with Peyton Manning, with Tarek Glenn, and Jeff Saturday and such.
Now, I love Andrew Luck. I think he's a great quarterback. I'm not really not taking too much into what he did last year. Because I know what I've seen those first 3 years. I mean, this kid is special. I mean, he's still, I think, a top 5 quarterback in the league, despite what he did last year. He's obviously very smart, Stanford product, very accurate. So he can do a little bit of it. He's like that new era of quarterback because he can run, but he's the type of runner where he'd rather throw first before he runs. So he keeps his eyes downfield when he escapes the pocket. And there's only like 2 guys in the league that can do that right now, maybe 3, because Russell Wilson can do that too. Mm-hmm. 3 guys in the league that can throw from the pocket and escape and throw on the move. Cam Newton's getting there, but he's still like erratic in the pocket at times. But Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, those are like the only 3 guys in the league that can do that.
And it's really tough to do, but I definitely agree with you there. Andrew Luck is a franchise quarterback. He's got all the intangibles, the smarts. He's got the arm. He can even run a little bit. He seeks out contact. They just have to build that line and get him a run game too. They've never really been known for their run game, except when they had Edgerrin James, but they always kind of just plug guys back there too, with the Tiptons and these no-name guys.
Fucking Zelon Tipton, right?
God. What a Hall of Famer he was.
God, Donald Brown. Who else? Jeez, I can't even think of guys. That's how bad it was. Well, Joseph Adai was okay.
He was decent.
Yeah, but after Adai left, it was Donald Brown. It was who was the other guy they just had? Boom Herron.
Yeah, Boom Herron. Like, what are you doing? Go out and get a good run. This year's draft coming up.
Trent Richardson they traded for.
What?
He traded for Trent Richardson.
Yeah, oh my God, a first-round pick. Mr. Hall of Famer that he set out last year. Oh, God, just terrible.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll get to overrated, underrated guys right now. I gave my overrated guy. I'll let you go first. I gave Antonio Cromartie. You can go.
My overrated guy is Colby Fleener. He's just never.
He's not there anymore. He's with Tampa Bay now.
Oh, I thought he was still there.
No.
All right, now I'm going to switch it because I really liked Allen over him anyway.
I'm the same way there. Yeah, I'm with you.
But my underrated guy was, Vontae Davis. He gets no love at all, but he's a shutdown corner. He's really good. And my overrated guy, Oh, man. Now I'm going to have to think. I think T.Y. Hilton's a little overrated. I don't think he's that good.
I like him, but like I get what you're saying because he's a little bit of a one-trick pony because he's like a deep threat. He's learned how to play more underneath. He's gotten better at that. But like I didn't have him like overly ranked or anything. Like I don't know where I had him. I think I had him like 15, 16, 17. So I didn't have him like top 10 or anything.
Because he's either going to, hit a home run and have, 200 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns, or he'll just completely get shut out. I would like to see him do a lot of underneath stuff, a little bit more, run across the middle and stuff, to become more of a versatile wideout, because that's my whole reason I didn't like Deshaun Jackson, because I thought he was the one-trick pony too. He's just really fast and can run straight. So if he can add that to his game, he'd be a more dynamic, receiver and player.
Yeah. Underrated. I like Patrick Robinson, the cornerback. This was a guy at New Orleans who stunk. And then he got to San Diego, and he turned his career around. And now he's in Indy, and I think he's pretty good. I gave other names earlier. I talked about Jack Mewhort. I think he's underrated. I think Henry Anderson. I mean, Henry Anderson is more that people don't know who he is more than he's underrated. So I liked his rookie season. I'm curious to see what he can do. I guess overrated. I mean, Robert Mathis isn't really anything anymore.
But it's because he's old, so it's tough to pick on players that have been successful and now are older now. So it's kind of hard to do that. I just don't like to pick the guys like that. But I don't know. It's tough to pick these guys because there isn't that many overrated players that you touched on in our earlier videos.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Because I was about to say like Trent Cole, but he's another guy that's he's just gotten older. That's all. All right. Next team we'll do. I guess we'll do the Houston Texans since they were the ones that won the division last year. Obviously, they got J.J. Watt. I mean, Jesus Christ, J.J. Watt. But yeah, I think he is the best player in the league. They tried to improve the offense this year. So Bill O'Brien is known as a little bit of a quarterback whisperer, and they traded for Brock Osweiler. So instead of doing what the Eagles and doing what the Rams did, they went the free agent route and spent a lot of money on Brock. Do you agree with what they did? I
don't think you give that type of money to a quarterback that has a sample size of 5 games of what you've seen. Yeah, he played some decent teams and had a good game, but that could have been some sheer luck with some of it. He had a really good team around him over there. He had really good wideouts. I mean, mind you have a really good wideout in DeAndre Hopkins, but what else do you have over there? I like that they picked up Lamar Miller. I think that was a very, very underrated signing. Not a lot of people think he's a very good back. I think he's a top back, not like a top 5 or anything, but I think he's a top 10 back. But Osweiler just doesn't do it for me. I don't think he has the mindset to be. Is he going to last 16 games? I don't think his body will hold up. And I'm not impressed with the Texans line at all. Like, I like Dwayne Brown, but I just don't see him being a franchise quarterback.
I'm with you on Osweiler. He's got this huge arm. And this is where Bill O'Brien's coaching is going to come into play because he does have mechanical flaws. He's not the most accurate right now. He's a 6'8" guy. So, it's I don't know how to explain this, but, to have to throw down, if you know what I'm saying,
as opposed to up like Drew Brees does because he can't see over it, it's tougher for taller quarterbacks.
He throws like this. He's got a weird type of little motion there.
Weird release.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with what they did. I would have rather drafted a guy and try to develop him. But I think this is Bill O'Brien's fucking cockiness coming in play a little bit here too. Because I think he thinks he can just do they have literally not had anything in Houston, and I think he just thinks his coaching can just overcome all.
Yeah.
So like last year, they traded for Ryan Mallett.
Oh, they had so many quarterbacks over there. They have 4 quarterbacks over there. What were you thinking? They had Mallett. They had Hoyer at one point. They had another guy too. Fitzpatrick was there for a little bit, wasn't he? It was just like the revolving door quarterback. And
They drafted Tom Savage, and I remember when they drafted him, like, what the fuck? Like, that guy stinks.
That was a head scratcher too. I just think they were so desperate, and they're in that win now mode that I think the GM also has gotten impatient. Like, because you have J.J. Watt now in his prime.
Yeah.
They're in that win now mode. They wanted to get an offense. They didn't want to be patient because that would have taken a couple years to get the quarterback, develop him, and by that point, J.J. Watt could have been gone or either retired.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, Osweiler, I believe, is still only 25, so there is room for improvement. But I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I just maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it. But I do like some of their other acquisitions they made. I do like Lamar Miller. I do think he's a top 10 running back in the league. Miami didn't utilize him correctly. They didn't give him the ball as much as he should have gotten the ball. DeAndre Hopkins is a stud. Yeah, that guy's unbelievable. He's top 5 in the league at wideout, I think.
Absolutely.
I like the signing of Jeff Allen. I think he's pretty good. But I am kind of with you on the line. Like, besides Dwayne Brown, there's not much there. Derek Newton is just, he's solid. Jeff Allen is pretty good. But other than that, like Xavier Suafilo, whatever his name is, he's a bum.
Yeah.
They have no centers anymore. They drafted one, Nick Martin, in the second round. But I think he's hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe he is.
Yeah. So I don't know who they're starting at center. But they're trying to fix that offense. I mean, obviously, we know their defense is very stout.
Very, very. Their defense is what's going to carry them, and I think that's what's going to help the young quarterback. I'm thinking that's what they're envisioning, what the Texans were thinking. Like, Bill O'Brien is the quarterback whisperer. He's going to be able to help out those mechanical flaws with him. They'll run the ball a lot because they got Lamar Miller now. They drafted Will Fuller, who I think is a complete bum. I think he's overrated. Yeah. But you've got DeAndre Hopkins, who's a stud, but they're going to pound the rock, give it to DeAndre, and then just play stout defense and just hope that line holds up. Because they lost Brandon Brooks, too, to Philadelphia.
Yeah. No, that was a big loss, too. That's basically they replaced Brooks with Jeff Allen.
Jeff Allen, yep.
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you. What do you think of Jadeveon Clowney?
Think he's a little overrated. That's my overrated guy. He's got all the freak talent in the world. He's huge. He's fast. Watching this guy in college, I thought he was going to be unbelievable, but that 2014 year, but then the year after that, he just looked lackadaisical, lazy. It's just like his head wasn't in the game. It's like he knew he was going to get picked number 1. He's like, why should I try out here? And then it kind of, translated into the NFL game too. He was hurt, but he just got completely shut out. And his hustle just isn't there. Because you look at a guy like J.J. Watt, who is just pure hustle and just the motor keeps going and going and going. And then you got Jadeveon, who's got all that talent and just as much as J.J. Watt has, and he just doesn't, fully utilize it. It's like frustrating to watch. And you think J.J. be able to motivate him to be like that. He's been a huge disappointment to me. Very overrated guy.
Like, I've seen the flashes. Like, it's there. It just doesn't come off every snap. And it's very frustrating. I definitely overrated him in my rankings. Like, he was a guy I had no idea where to put. Like, where do you put this guy? He's got so much talent. I've seen it on tape, but then I've also seen the laziness. And he was supposed to be the guy that, helped out J.J. Watt getting pressure on the quarterback. Instead, that guy's been Whitney Merciless.
Yeah, it's been Whitney Merciless.
So Whitney Merciless is, relentless and unmerciless, I guess, is the word.
That's exactly the word. And they didn't spend a top pick on him either.
Yeah, so he's the double-digit sack guy that Clowney was supposed to be.
It will be interesting to see what happens with Jadeveon this year. If he stays healthy, I know he's had a good camp, but what does that really mean? Okay, so what? You've seen the flashes. Is it going to be consistent where you can put JJ on one side and Clan at the other and just collapse that pocket? Because they need somebody else to. JJ's getting triple team. Who else is going to be that? Or even when Merciless has to be subbed.
Yeah. I'll give you we'll get to the underrated guys later. What do you think about that secondary? Jonathan Joseph is getting older.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Kareem Jackson.
I was about to say Kareem Jackson is one of my favorite guys I like, and Kevin Johnson's really good too. Their top pick from last year.
I love Kevin Johnson. I think he's better than Joseph right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because he's getting a little long in the tooth, and he was a stellar corner for so many years, Jonathan Joseph. But it's getting to that time where he's maybe going to convert to maybe a slot corner or just come in nickel packages and let Kevin Johnson take over and then have Kareem Jackson over there, the two shutdown corners.
Yeah, I also like A.J. Boye a little bit too. They got another cornerback there. Their safeties stink.
Well, they got K.J. Dillon, though. They drafted K.J. Dillon in the 5th round, who I'm very high on.
Okay. Well, I don't like Eddie Pleasant. Andre Howe is like okay, I guess. He kind of like came on last year a little bit. Now he's starting. Whatever. But other guys on that defense, like Vince Wilfork, isn't getting any younger. Now, the guy that started kind of relishing his opportunity last year was Jared Crick. But he's no longer there. And now you got there's a trio of guys gunning for that starting spot, and I only know one of them. That's Devin Still. I don't even know who the other guys are, but they all stink.
Yeah, they're not that deep on the defensive line like they used to be. They got Whitney. They've got JJ. They lost Crick, and they did pick up Devin Stills. And Vince Wilfork is, he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, I think. Great nose tackle, complete beast, but they never really got a guy to replace him and step in and replace that guy that's going to be, eating up the middle. So they might have to do a lot of linebacker blitzes. I like Brian Cushing. I think he's still good. He's had a couple injuries, but I think he's still a stud. And they got McKinney, too, that they got. I think he's going to step up and have a big role for them this year. So they're starting to get a little bit younger, but they got to start drafting on that defensive line to help JJ out. But that's what we're waiting on Clowney to do. He's supposed to be that young stud that helps him out.
Yeah, all right. So this is where we get to overrated, underrated. I agree with you with Clowney. Even though I definitely overrated him in my rankings, but I didn't know where – he was a guy I just didn't know what to do with. I see it, but I don't see it too. Underrated, I mean, Merciless is the easy pick, but I talked about him earlier. A.J. Boye, this guy, whenever I watch him play, he makes plays. I remember this game in particular, he was covering Des Bryant at times. This was a game against Dallas 2 years ago. And I was like, holy shit, he's holding his own against Des Bryant. That's amazing. So Boye is the guy that I kind of like, even though he may not play that much. I just like him. John Simon, there's another one. Not talked about much. You can make the argument that he contributes more than Clowney does. John Simon, a rotational kind of outside linebacker for them. I like him as well.
I like Kareem Jackson as my underrated guy. I think he gets a little overshadowed in that defense for what they have there. And I think an underrated guy to watch this year, too, is Braxton Miller, another one of these quarterbacks that have converted to wideouts. Still very raw, but he's got unbelievable speed and his juking and cutting ability. His jump cuts are incredible. It kind of reminds me of – it's a little much to say, but Antonio Brown, just the way he moves with the ball in his hands, it's just close to bar to none. It's incredible.
I like him better than Will Fuller.
Scrub, complete scrub. What a waste of a first-round pick. What were you thinking, Bill O'Brien?
All right, so where do you got the Texans going?
I have them going 9-7, winning the division.
Okay. And I have them 8-8, so not winning the division. So if I have the Colts going 7-9, and I have the Texans going 8-8, does that mean Tennessee's winning the division? No. Jacksonville, baby. I am drinking the Kool-Aid. And I already know I'm probably drinking too much Kool-Aid, but I'm all about Jacksonville this year. I think this is because they're in this very winnable division. I think they have a shot. So I'll let you take it away because I know you really like this team.
It's been my team since day one, since 1995. We've had a lot of rough years, but I've stuck with them. And I'm so happy to see them finally put it together with the right coach. I love Gus Bradley. And finally with the draft picks they're hitting. We were like Cleveland there for a while. We were just whiffing left and right on some of these bumps we were taking. I'm excited to see what they do. I love Blake Bortles. They've got an offense around them. We've added some pieces on the line. That was a little bit shaky, but the defense was the worst part of this team last year. I mean, dear God, me and you could have done better out there defending some of these guys. They were just getting cut up left and right. 400, 500 yards being put up every week against this defense. But they focused it really hard in the free agency and in the draft. 6 out of 7 guys they took were on the defensive side of the ball. They brought in guys like Malik Jackson. They paid a lot of money for him, but I think he's going to make an impact. Usually guys don't when they sign that big money, but I think he's going to be relentless. They got, Tashawn Gibson in there, Prince Amukamara, Jalen Ramsey, I think is going to be an exciting prospect, and of course, Miles Jack.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I have them winning the division is the moves that they made in the offseason on defense. Tashawn Gibson, people don't know who he is because he got stuck in Cleveland, but he's a really good safety.
Awesome.
Prince Amukamara, if he can stay healthy, he's pretty good. Miles Jack, you got him like that. That was a steal to get him in the second round. Malik Jackson, like they got him, and you're gonna have Dante Fowler now returning from his injury. So all these things on defense, all these moves that were made, I think this is what puts them over the top and helps them win this division. I know I like their offense. I like Blake Bortles. I mean, obviously you got some receivers there. You got Allen Robinson, stud. Alan Hearns got that big contract. We'll see if Julius Thomas can make some contributions this year. We'll see. I like the move, even Chris Ivory, pairing him up with TJ Yeldon.
You got a 1-2 punch there.
Yeah, I like Yeldon. Probably a little bit more than other people. Maybe, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Yeldon?
I love Yeldon. I love when we drafted him last year. I think he had a really solid rookie season. He can do a lot. He's a bigger back, but he's got quick feet for being a bigger back. He can catch out of the backfield. He's good at blocking and pass protection. I'm a big fan of TJ Yeldon.
Yeah, like just all across the board. Jacksonville made all these kind of under-the-radar moves. Even Kelvin Beachum, signing him as a tackle. Like, they did everything tremendously. I don't know who the GM of that team. Who's their GM?
It's David Caldwell.
Well, David Caldwell, thumbs up for you because that was one of the better off seasons of any team in the league, I think.
I think it was huge, and usually I used to cringe when they would go into the offseason because they used to pay big money for all these older guys. It's like your career went to die if you came to Jacksonville. It was sad, but when David Caldwell came in here, he's been making the right moves. He brought in the right personnel, the right coach. And I think the Beachum signing was the most underrated signing of it all because they haven't had a left tackle, and I think Beachum shores that up over there because Luke Jogal is a complete bum, a complete joke.
Dude, I thought Jogal was going to be good too, I remember. Oh, man.
I did too. I was excited when they got him. 2nd overall pick. Finally solidify that. We haven't had a guy like that since, Tony Baselli way back in the day.
Yeah. Dude, like literally every move they made was under the radar. Tashawn Gibson, Amukamara, Malik Jack. Like these guys aren't sexy names, but they're good.
They're contributors. They're very good.
Yeah. So we'll see about that line though. There's like some concerns there. Like how good. Like I like AJ Cann. I thought he had a solid rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. But there's like who's their center right now? Bowanko? Is it Bowanko?
No, they're getting rid of Bowanko. So what they're doing now is, and this is one of my favorite guys on the whole line, Brandon Linder.
Okay.
They're moving him over to center because he played a little bit in college. They're moving him to center, AJ Cann over to right tackle. They're kicking useless Jokel over at the left guard. And yeah. Parnell's okay, but I think they should solidify that right tackle spot a little bit better there. They're just looking for a spot for Jokel.
Wait. So Cann is playing right tackle, you said?
No. Cann is playing right guard.
Oh, okay. You misspoke then. Okay. Yeah, because that's what I thought. He was the right guard.
I said Parnell was the right tackle.
You accidentally said right tackle for Cann. It's all right.
I did?
It's all good. I think I knew what you meant, though. So, Jokel's moving the left guard because he's just that bad. But Beachum's going to be at that left tackle. We'll see how he comes back. But let's all right. We'll get to this. What do you think of Cedric Marks? Because this guy was a stud, but I've been hearing that he's not looking so good anymore.
That after that knee injury, he just hasn't been the same guy. He hasn't had that quickness. I mean, that's what made him so effective was that first step with that quickness. And it's just not there anymore. I think the knee has just been too much damage for that first step to even come back.
Okay. I like Telvin Smith. We didn't
love Telvin Smith.
Yeah, we didn't talk about him. Like, there's this new age linebacker now where guys are like allowed to be undersized, and that's a reason why he wasn't like drafted that high. He's a small kind of guy, but we're seeing this right now, like Mark Barron, Deion Buchanan.
Deion Buchanan.
Yeah, move the linebackers. So you're having these smaller kind of safeties moving the linebacker, and that's like the trend in the NFL. But that's like what's going on. Like the NFL is becoming almost smaller everywhere, even on offense. So you got these little slot receivers getting lined up. So yeah, I love Telvin Smith.
Their linebacking core is awesome. You got Paz in the middle, and then you got Telvin Smith and Miles Jack on either side of them.
Yeah, this defense is going to be better, I think. Even though you're saying they're not looking so good in the preseason,
they've been looking really uncoordinated. A lot of stupid plays. They look really good on paper. I'm just hoping they mesh together. Dante Fowler was looking incredible, and then he was just kind of being shut down by these bigger tackles. His spinning hasn't been as effective, but it's going to take a little time for them to mesh. I think we'll start to see them gel later in the season. I'm interested to see if Bortles makes that jump from the sophomore year, make the jump from the sophomore year to his third season, as well as he did from rookie to sophomore, because that was a hell of a jump. Because people were getting on him his rookie season. He looked awful. I mean, he didn't look good, but who looks great coming in the NFL right out of college? But I thought he had an incredible season last year, 3,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. He looked like a completely different quarterback, but he worked on his mechanics. So kudos to him for that.
And he's still got to work on some mechanics. Like he's got this elongated kind of release, but it's caused some just a little bit of erratic accuracy problems. But other than that, I mean, the guy's a stud. Like I like him a lot. So I really like this team. Like I said, I got this team going 10-6 and winning the division.
I wish I was as optimistic as you. I wasn't trying to be a homer. I was trying to be realistic. I think they're going 7-9 this season.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by that, obviously. But I can see like them struggling on defense to start, like you were saying, like taking a while to all those pieces to mesh because they do have all these new pieces like Jack and Gibson and Ramsey and who's the other one? Fowler. They're all like literally 5 to 6 new guys. Amo Kamara.
Sheldon Day, who's another underrated guy there. I think he's going to have a pretty good season. Their 4th-round pick this year, pretty solid.
Yeah. So who would you say is the most overrated, underrated players on the roster?
Underrated, Brandon Leonard gets no love, but the Hogs never do. The big boys up front never get any love. They do all the dirty work. So Brandon Linder, I think, is one of the most underrated guys. Overrated, I'd say Julius Thomas.
Yeah, that's like the easy one.
Yeah, that's an easy pickings. I think Prince Amukamara is a little overrated. I don't think he's as good as people say. He got eaten alive in New York, and he was one of the top corner prospects coming out of Nebraska that year. I expected him to be like a shutdown corner when he came in, but he gets beat in deep coverage a lot, and he gets pushed around by bigger receivers. So I'm not that big of a fan of Prince Amukamara.
I'll tell you who I do like. As an underrated guy, we haven't talked about him yet. Aaron Colvin, I thought, had a really good year last year. I like him. Davon House is pretty good too. So
he's okay. He's decent. I like Cyprien. He's one of my favorite players on the team. Johnson Cyprien at safety, big boy hitter. But if you notice what Gus Bradley's doing, he's taking the blueprint and turning this into what Seattle was. He's got the smash mouth running game, and he's got that defense. You got Cam, Bam Bam Cam is Johnson Cyprien in this defense. You've got all the speedy linebackers running all over the place, and then the speed rushers coming off the edge. It's just the blueprint for Seattle. Gus Bus is taking us to the promised land.
I tell you what, though, like I said, man, I do like Colvin a lot. All right, so how has Jalen Ramsey been looking? Because
awesome.
I had him rated as my top player on my board.
I'm excited for this kid. I couldn't believe he fell to us in the draft. It was a dream scenario thank you, Dallas, for taking Ezekiel. And the Chargers for taking Boza. Scumbag, by the way. But awesome. He's looked great. He puts his nose to the grindstone. He goes up and tackles in the run game, which you don't see corners do anymore. He's a big physical receiver, and he's a shutdown corner. And he played free safety in college, so he can play both positions. So he's a jack of all trades, much like Miles Jack.
I had him rated as in my rank, you see how I put numbers next to people. I had him, I think, the highest rated rookie. So I like Ramsey's game a lot. Moving on to Tennessee now. I don't know how much time I'm really going to spend on this team. I'll tell you what. This team, this ownership or this however the fuck they're running this team, they're fucking idiots. You fire Ken Wisenhunt, that's fine, but you replace him with Mike Mularkey.
Terrible decision.
You replace him with Mike Mularkey, and then you trade Dorial Green-Beckham, like a year after you draft him.
I don't know what direction they're going in.
Like, what the fuck are they doing? You trade for DeMarco Murray. Like, what the fuck?
Yikes. It's a head scratcher because they had such a tradition down there at Tennessee. They had Jeff Fisher there for so many years. They were a winning organization for a very long time when he was there. He always had them. He had them in the Super Bowl the one year, but they were always good.
Yeah.
I thought it was a dumb decision. Then they had Mike Munchak there. He didn't work out. He was there for 2 years. But I think you have to give a coach at least 4 years to put his imprint on a team. Like, firing Ken Wisenhunt, I think, was a stupid decision because I think he's a good coach. But he was there for 1 year. You can't do anything in 1 year and just boot the guy out. So, but then that's what baffles me. You give Mike Mularkey a 3-year contract. Like, are you going to let him play half the season and then get rid of him? Like, stop being so impatient and just let them develop. And this screws with player development too.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I can somewhat justify the Ken Wisenhunt thing is because he likes more pocket type of quarterbacks, those big type of guys, and obviously Marcus Mariota is that new wave of quarterback. But then I was like, all right, so they fired Ken Wisenhunt. All right, whatever. I can kind of understand it. And then they bring in Mike Mularkey. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? This is stupid. And I'm really afraid for Mariota and how his career's gonna pan out because.
It's Mike Mularkey. He's had 2 head coaching jobs, of which he's been kicked out in the same year he was hired, in Buffalo and in Jacksonville. The dude is just an assistant head coach. I don't think he can run a team. I don't know what they saw from him, what they did last year. I didn't see any glimpse of anything from what he had done. So I don't know. They might move this team out of here because of Mike Mularkey. They might move him to Vegas or over in London or something.
London. The London Titans. There's 2 bright spots I see. Well, I do like Mariota too, but that's kind of self-explanatory. I like Jarrell Case. I mean, I love Jarrell Case.
He's one of my favorite players on the team.
Oh, underrated for days. And there was a wide receiver that they took that I said was my most underrated wide receiver heading into the draft.
Massachusetts.
Huh?
Big dude from Massachusetts. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you remember me talking about him?
I do.
Tajay Sharp. I love this kid. I remember when he played Temple a couple times. Temple has a cornerback by the name of Tavon Young. That's really good. And he got drafted by the Steelers, I want to say. I don't know. But Tajay Sharp, man, this guy is a stud. He's a fucking stud. And I think he might be starting for them.
He should. They got rid of Dorial Green-Beckham, who was probably only one of their younger bright spots on the team. So they traded him away. Who is Mariota? This is what I don't get. I kind of understood where they went. They got a buttload of picks. They got a bounty of picks from Los Angeles. Still getting acclimated to that.
I've done it too.
So they had a bunch of them. So they're rebuilding the team. They're doing it on both sides of the trenches. They're getting the defensive guys that chase the quarterback, and then they're guarding their franchise quarterback in Mariota. They've seen that. He showed some bright spots. I'm not a fan of Mariota at all, but he looked pretty good last year at sometimes. So I can kind of understand what they're doing there, but who is this kid going to throw to? You got Delaney Walker there, who's getting really long in the tooth, but you double cover him. Who are you going to throw to? Justin Hunter? You sign Rashard Matthews after having one decent season in Miami. Andre Johnson, who is 45 years old by this point? I mean, it's just like they're going to be a ground and pound team. But I think that's going to hamper Mariota's development a little bit because they have nobody to throw to, unless this Tajay Sharp kid comes onto the scene.
And you can't expect much from him. I mean, he's a fifth-round rookie, so as much as I like him, it's hard to imagine he's going to make a considerable impact. Who knows what's going on with Kendall Wright? Kendall Wright looked good for a year or two, and he's fallen off.
Wound
I remember liking him for a little bit. So we'll see if they can protect Mariota, because Taylor Lewan's all right, but other than that, I mean,
I like the Hogs up front for them. You don't like Chance? I like Chance Warmack.
He's okay. Who's their other guard? Jeremiah Putasi. They moved him inside. Who's their center? Ben Jones, or is it Schwanky?
It's Schwanky. They got Schwanky.
Schwanky P.
Yeah, they got Schwanky P, and then they drafted Jack Conklin.
Well, see, I'm not a Conklin guy, but that was another dumb move. They trade back to 15. They trade up to number 8. I don't give a fuck that he wore a gas mask. You don't pass
on Laramie Tunsil.
You don't pass on Laramie Tunsil.
That was a boneheaded move. I didn't get that at all. You gained picks and then you gave up. You could have had Conklin at 15. Yeah. What are you doing?
So, we'll see about this team. I got them going 3-13.
I have them going. What do I have? I think I had them going 4-12.
All right, so we're about in the same ballpark there. All right, so overrated, underrated players. For overrated, I'll go with Jason McCourty. He's not what he used to be, so I'll go with him as the overrated guy. So we already talked about him, so I'm not going to really focus on him more. So I was going to say Craig Stevens is underrated, but he retired. He's a really, really good blocking tight end. So instead of that, I'll go with Al Woods as underrated. I think he's a solid nose tackle. He can play the run really well. And maybe overrated, maybe Brian Arakpo. I don't know, but I like Arakpo too.
I like Arakpo too. My overrated guys are the double Ds. I like to call them DeMarco and Derrick Henry, the big, massive backs. I don't think they're that good. They're just overpowering, so I think they're overrated. I think they're going to get smothered in this offense. Mike Mularkey doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, we might as well get Ronald McDonald from McDonald's to coach this team. I mean, pull any hobo off the street. These two are a joke. I don't care if he won the Heisman. Derrick Henry is going to suck this year, and DeMarco Murray, he doesn't have that great line in front of him anymore. Much like what we saw what he did in Philadelphia, and when we got rid of him, that was a blessing in disguise. My underrated guy was Jarrell Casey, but we had touched on him. I think Delaney Walker's a little underrated, wouldn't you say? I would like to say he's underrated because he was so overshadowed there in San Francisco for so long, because of Vernon Davis. And then when he came over here, he started to see a little bit of a breakout. Same with Barnett. He was underrated in Carolina for all those years, and look what he could have been doing.
Mm-hmm. I guess you could throw some more guys in the underrated column. Avery Williamson, their inside linebacker, I think is pretty solid. Denoris Searcy, their safety.
Yeah, Searcy.
He's pretty good. Overrated, just because I want to throw his name in there because he looks like a lesbian. Dennis Kelly.
Dennis Kelly. You mean the jar of peanut butter they got for Terrell Green Beckham? The chunky, smooth peanut butter?
Like Titans fans are still just they can't let it go. It was a terrible trade.
I don't blame them. I wouldn't be able to let it go either. It makes absolutely
no sense. They're the Titans fans that I've dealt with defend what they did.
Are you kidding me? What are they doing down there?
Go look at the comment section of my fucking Dorial Green Beckham video of the trade. They're defending it.
Well, they must be as clueless as Mike Mularkey then. I mean, what is going on here?
They're like, well, he has bad work ethic and he's lazy.
Well, you can fix that.
Maturity.
Yeah, it's called growing up and not wanting to play for a scrubby team. And Mike Mularkey.
Like the guy's like, he was listed number 7 on the depth chart. I'm like, who gives a fuck?
Oh, what? What is this, Madden? So what? It doesn't matter.
Depth chart in the preseason, it doesn't mean anything. It just, they're listing guys on a depth chart. And they were talking about how he was overweight, showing up the fucking OTAs. And that doesn't fucking mean anything because you can lose weight in camp. That's what camp is for, is to get back into shape.
Get back into football shape.
Yeah, like, fuck, man. So
they're stat trolls. They're stat trolls. Don't even waste your breath.
So the Titans fans are as dumb as their fucking head coach.
Oh, they just pulled a Mike Mularkey. That's just going to become a saying now. Whenever something is dumb, it's a Mularkey. That's all you got.
There you go. All right. That's about it for this video. That was a good one. The good old AFC South. For Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian. Thank you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And let us know in the comment section below, who do you got winning the division? And who are the most overrated, underrated players you think in the division? I think come out right. I don't think it did. Whatever. We're out. It did. All right. Peace.